What up, gang? Lane Carolina Jackpot Time coming at you on Tuesday morning. Hope everybody's doing good today. I haven't spoken on this yet, but this story came out a few days ago. They were already putting out some short lists for the 2025 Heisman Trophy, which I get it. We're doing that. Everybody does some way too early lists, but I think these way too early lists, hell, you ought to at least save them for at least after the season's done. You got news and things to talk about right now during the season, but they have Lanorris sellers on the 2025 Heisman watch list. I don't think that's far-fetched at all. Now, he's going to have to improve his numbers a little bit in 2025. This year, he was 17 touchdowns through the air and 7 interceptions. That's not good. He's got to cut back on those numbers. The interception number, that is. Got to get more passing touchdowns. The staff's going to have to help him out and get him some more receiver talent in there. Now, he's got some good receivers coming in terms of the 2025 freshman class. Malik Clark from Rock Hill, South Carolina, Alex Cyrus out of Pennsylvania, and you got Brian Rowe from North Carolina. But only one of those players, that being Clark, is in the top 300. The other two are also 4-stars, but Malik Clark is a higher 4-star. It's crazy that you think that the receiver now that'll be left on the roster, really with the most experience at South Carolina, is Nick Harbor, who has just recently learned to, I guess, play the position somewhat efficiently, effectively, I guess. So they're out. They're in the transfer portal right now, trying to bring in some more, not necessarily depth pieces, but probably older players who can kind of help and groom these younger players to come along. Because honestly, I think that Clark is probably the only one who would be able to see significant playing time and make an impact as a true freshman. Now, I don't know that for certain, but he's just the highest rated kid that they've got. So that's all kind of subjective, though, I guess. We'll have to see. You can always get surprised, but getting someone older, a couple older players out of the portal to help with that transition is always going to be a good thing. I haven't heard any word right now on any official visitors. I do know that the former NC State receiver Concepion has his list of teams down to 6, and South Carolina's on it. So we'll see. If they don't land him, I don't think that's let's just not try to pick any more portal players up, period, because they don't have all their eggs in that Concepion basket. They've got their feelers out there. There's a lot of movement behind the scenes too that we don't even know anything about. The kid that they had that committed over the weekend from Mizzou, I didn't have it. I had no knowledge of this. I don't think anybody did unless they were deep involved in the program. So it could be a situation of something like that also. But he's on that short list. You've also got Garrett Nussmeier from LSU on there. Arch Manning from Texas is on there. I don't know that we've seen a large enough sample size from him, but I mean, I guess just by name and reputation alone and the huge upside that he brings, I guess that's fair to place him on there. I didn't see Nico on the list, but I'm sure that he would be listed on there somewhere. I didn't see Kkumnick either. Kkumnick put up some really good numbers this year. The thing about it is, Kkumnick plays against some really taffy competition. He really does, and they know that. But the same can be said. I think the same might have been said for Ashton Jeanty out at Boise State too. He played against some taffy competition. Now he put up, I think, almost over 200 yards against Oregon. Now that's not taffy competition, but the rest of the schedule that he faced was barely above FCS level. So Kkumnick is probably, in the opinion of Carolina Jackpot, he's probably reached his ceiling. And Lanorris is so far below the ceiling, you couldn't see it with a telescope, like a high-powered telescope. He's yet to even get anywhere close to the ceiling. So, and just that blend of athleticism that he brings, the elusiveness, I've never seen a player like that. At least not in a South Carolina uniform. I don't know. I mean, draw some comparisons up. Who does he remind you of? But just absolutely phenomenal. So he's on that short list, but he's going to have to clean up those turnovers. He's going to have to develop better ball security, and he's going to have to elevate his passing yards. There's no two ways about that. But there's some help on the way, and I have a feeling behind the scenes they've got some movement on that too. I got some visitors coming in this week, some more transfer portal prospects, a ton of visitors. It's too many to name. One of those being Justice Haynes, the running back from Alabama. And everybody's on this guy. I think that Ole Miss seems to be the highest pusher, or the hardest pusher, other than the Gamecocks, to land this guy's services. I don't know. He was kind of in a two running back system in Alabama. What's the other guy's name? Jam Miller. Not really sure which one was considered RB1 and which one was RB2, but they were both effective. And I think Rocket Sanders at his best is probably better than this dude. But we'll see on that one. I'm sure it would be a nice pickup. They've got Jawarn Howell behind him. This guy is the one that came over from South Carolina State last year. And he's got a tremendous upside as well. Very shifty. Has looked good when he's been out there at the limited snaps that he got this season. He's going to be a good player for South Carolina. He could be your RB2 going into next year, behind whoever they bring in from the portal, or you have Oscar Attaway there too, from the guy from North Texas that was the RB2 this year. And he played okay. He wasn't great. He was okay. As far as other visitors, what is this? Jordan Dingle, a prospect, tight end from Kentucky, is supposed to be visiting. This guy's been at South Carolina before for a visit, back in 2019. Yeah, he's old as nuts right now. Probably should be drawing Social Security. But yeah, he visited for a game back during the Will Muschamp and was on campus for a visit. Ended up signing with Kentucky. You probably saw the writing on the wall there with that. He didn't want that Muschamp stink on him. So he went with Kentucky. He's been a pretty effective player over the years. Surely this would be his last year of eligibility. It would just about have to be. And another young man whose name recently popped into it, a Jared Dawson, another edge rusher this one's from Louisville. He's been at Louisville for several years, kind of started some, been in a backup role some, got about 50-something tackles, and I think like 8 or 9 sacks in several years there at Louisville, so that could be a potential depth piece also that they're looking to add. But the pickup of the young man from Mizzou over the weekend was huge. Also, the offensive lineman, I didn't talk a lot about Nick Sharp, who they picked up from Wake Forest. He could be potentially someone to take over one of the starting guard positions next year. He's about 6'2", about 335, 340 pounds. Huge. And he's been like a 2-year starter, I think, at Wake Forest. He's only given up 2 sacks. That was another thing, too, I wanted to mention about Lanorris. His sack numbers, he took 31 sacks this past season. During the regular season. That's high, but you've also got to factor in there that offensive line improved throughout the year, and especially in the second half of the year, along with Lanorris Sellers. They didn't give up any sacks in the Texas A&M or Vanderbilt games. I think they only gave up 1 sack against Mizzou. And Mizzou had a pretty formidable defensive front. So they improved a lot down the stretch. Just going to have to keep on improving on that. Some of those were on him, hold the ball too long. Some of those were on the offensive line, though, that I just mentioned. So, with all that being said, I don't know. I mean, this has got to be tough when you're preparing for a bowl game and trying to recruit the transfer portal also, or getting ready for the playoffs and trying to recruit the transfer portal. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how these coaches do it, and there's got to be a better way, one would think, of doing the transfer portal where it doesn't interfere with your bowl preparation. But then again, how could you? Because you got to remember, this is still school. This is still school, and school starts the second week in January. So they got to get enrolled. If they're in the transfer portal, if they're planning on attending classes there and being part of the team, they're going to have to attend classes, and they've got to get in and get registered. So crazy stuff there. I'm sure they can make some kind of exceptions, but I mean, you can't miss too much class at the beginning of a semester, or you're not going to be eligible. So we'll just have to see how that works out. Dabo finally, he took somebody from the transfer portal. A wide receiver, it looked like he was from Southwest Missouri or somewhere like that. Missouri State, someplace, Southeast Missouri, I think it was. And also by way of junior college. A 6'5" wide receiver. I don't even remember his name. I don't know what year he is. I don't know diddly squat about him. I just know that he took him in the portal. Somebody sent it to me last night, and then I watched it. Several people were out there. They were making videos about it and talking about it, like, like this is, I don't know. It's like this is the best thing ever. Okay, wow, you finally dipped your toes into somebody that transfer portal. Congratulations. You're going to have to do more than that, though. He's going to have to do more than that to make people think, well, he's using the portal, other than just take one player and say, look, I used it. See, I used it. That's kind of like little kid going in there and just sticking his hands under the faucet, jerking them back out. Yeah, Mom, I washed my hands. No, you didn't. You didn't use no soap. You didn't use no water. It wasn't warm water. You didn't rub them together up under that thing. You didn't dry them off with a hand towel. You didn't wash your hands. That's kind of what I think that might end up being. We'll see. Maybe he is. I saw Texas Tech has taken 7 transfer portal players already. 7. That's a lot. I mean, have you done evaluations on all those there? Texas Tech? That seems like a lot, but maybe so. Any other pertinent news here? South Carolina takes on Clemson tonight in basketball. I think this game's at 7 o'clock from Colonial Life. I don't understand why the game would be so early. It should be, at least. They should put it on at like 8 or something, but I don't know. My wife's birthday was today. My birthday was Sunday. My wife's birthday is today. So I don't know how much of the game. I'll watch some of the game, but I think last year I live streamed the game, but I ain't going to do that tonight because I don't want that to cut into her time. South Carolina's like a 2.5 point. Was a 2.5 point, then it shifted to a 1.5 point. Now it's about a 2.5 point underdog at home. I don't know. I think that line's a little bit short. Unfortunately, I think Clemson's a little bit better than South Carolina is this year. South Carolina's kind of in rebuilding mode. They had a really good season last year, but they lost a lot of pieces off that team, including Michi Johnson, the guard who transferred from Ohio State, played here for, 2 years? I think he played here. Then he transfers back to Ohio State. For what? I don't know, but wanted to get back close to home. Well, why'd you come here in the first place? He was putting stuff on social media when he left. I don't think he really wanted to leave. I think there was some extenuating circumstance. I don't know, but his team I saw on the Saturday afternoon, he was getting his ass kicked up around his shoulder blades. They were playing Auburn, I think it was, and they were behind in the second half by like 35 points. And I was going to tweet out something about some way the more things change, the more they say the same for the Meechie Johnson man. But then again, that's like, nah, I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to worry about it. Don't be salty. So I don't know. I would take Clemson to cover the spread in that game. That's just me, though. I don't think we're very good. But they've got a short line on it in Vegas, so we'll have to see. South Carolina got to get out on the perimeter early and defend against Chase Hunter. Don't let him get hot. Start setting the tempo from the outside, and maybe they'll have a chance in this game. If they don't, I think that Clemson will get ahead of them and just keep it too far out of reach for South Carolina to get back into it. Be a kind of battle underneath there between Colin Murray Boyles and Ian Shefflin, the chef for the Taters. Those are two big men to watch. See how that turns out. But anyway, guys, it's all about all I got to say about that. It's about time to get to work. I got to go to Publix, put up a couple of weekender displays, some tortilla chips for next week's going BOGO. Merry Christmas. We got tortilla chips on sale. Then I got to take my big ass up to Food Lion and put together 4 weekenders because we got our UTs. Buy one, get one free up there. I put displays in 2 food lines yesterday, and now I've got to work my other food line today. So it's going to be a busy day for the Jackpot Man. But it's all good. I'll see you guys later on, though. Appreciate you. Peace, and I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks. Woo!